Hi, it's Stan with Willoway. It's April 14th. We're about halfway through April here, and weather's starting to change a little bit. Today the sun came out. We're up in the 60s today. There is a degrees later this week, a low of like 36, 34 and clear. It makes me a little nervous this time of year because when the forecast is clear weather, we can drop upwards of 3-4 degrees below what they forecast. That's just because the clouds aren't there to hold the heat down in the atmosphere. So it's always important, and I'll keep bringing it up this time of year, is we got to make sure stuff is seasonally protected whenever we're dealing with it. So we keep this under plastic. We took the white off now, and so it's only under clear. We put a spray shade on to help hold the heat, or at least some of the intensity down. But if we don't do that, then we get stretchy plants. We got to use more PGRs. We try not to do as much of that as we can. This crop behind me, I got Summer Crush here next to me, and I got Eclipse, which was the new one last year from Bailey's. Really nice plant. I love the flower, the reddish color in it. These are all really starting to just show some like dime-sized buds in them right now. We have another crop that's forced a little heavier along. That's going to be ready more for a Mother's Day crop, but this is more of our seasonal crop right now. So really looking at this, we do put snail bait down on these starting April, in the beginning of April. The snails start to become active. So with moisture like we have, and some of those overcast snails can be an issue, so we're treating for that. So we have nice plants. Some of the other things to watch for this time of year, with it being cooler, aphids can be a little bit of an issue this time of year. So we'll always be watching for those as well. We constantly are scouting all the time for those kind of pests and taking care of them. We have a pretty strong integrated pest management, IPM, and we incorporate some biological controls in. For like aphids, we can use a lacewing larva that is pretty voracious on eating the larva, or the aphids up, the larva is. Hi, it's Thad. We're at our clematis house here. This is Crystal Fountain, one of our clematises we grow. It's a nice white. Some of the things I want to circle back on was just how full our plants are. As you can see, they're trained up on a trellis. We wrap these every week. We come back in and wrap them, so they're real full. These are bred, this whole line, the Emma Raven series, is bred to basically be a nice, full, complete up and down bloomer. So this is not your old Jack Vannii or things like that. There's lots of buds going to be coming here on some of these plants. In fact, we have some varieties that are already budded and starting to push flowers out on them. So we're kind of ahead of schedule a little bit, but not that much ahead. So we'll see how things kind of progress here in the next week or so. But really nice plants. I encourage you, if you've never tried this series of clematis, to try it. I think your customers are going to love it. We really enjoy growing it. It's a nice program, clematis, for us, and we're excited that we're able to offer it. Hi, it's Thad. We came out to talk a little bit about Deutzia, one of the spring blooming plants we have here at Willoway. So a couple things. We're starting to come some buds on it here now. These all trimmed and spaced and fertilized for spring. A couple things happened this last week. We had some weather come in on us that was predicted to get down around below freezing. Deutzia is not cold tolerant with that, especially at where we're at with stage-wise. So we had to bring the hoops back in, plastic back in, cover the house, because it kind of stalls them out. But our crop looks really good. They're sitting really nice. We got another crop of Chardonnay Pearls, which is the yellow version. Is really loaded up with blossoms right now, looking good. That's a partial shade Deutzia. So we usually grow that under shade or white plastic for this time of year. So that's another nice choice as well. Hi, it's Thad at Willoway. We moved over to our German Iris house. We got Royal Highness variety in front of us, and this is Clarence here. As you can see, nice big flowers. We get 2 bloom cycles per year, once here in the spring and then once again in the fall. We can up a larger division than most people do, so you can see they're very large divisions, lots of fans. So that'll help establish it a little better in the landscape. So also want to talk about growing degree days. It's something we always bring up every week. We're at 147 here in Avon. Hilliard's running at 209, so they always run about 50, 60 degree days ahead of us for most of the year. Part of that is they're more inland, but they have more variability with some of the what's going on with the temperature swings. The other thing that we want to talk about, Asian ambrosia beetle. We started catching a few in traps. 2 consecutive back-to-back 60-degree days with warm nights really brings them out. So we expect this week might be, we're really out. We started spraying for them. You want to be watching for that. At 150, inkberry minor comes out. So that's another thing to watch for. We're also boxwood psyllid is 162. It's going to be coming out. So we've got a number of pests coming up. Calorie pear first bloom is about 150. So it times out a little bit, and about 162 it's in full bloom. So you can use those as kind of indicator plants. They're very readily available out in the landscape to watch. The only other thing is 162, also spruce spider mite becomes an issue, so we're going to start to see that a little bit. You want to look for a little webbing on the tips of the spruce, and they can, as the new buds emerge, that could become an issue.